We know Karrion didn't get a new contract signed. Okay, so
Him
what
and his what's her name, right? Scarlet. What is it?
in Scarlet?
Scarlet. Yeah.
So there's a couple issues with that. First off, you got the comments he made on Logan Paul. Okay, this was on the Sam Roberts podcast originally. They also said it on the Ariel Helwani podcast, and then it was basically he was repeating it on different platforms on his own platform because it was a work shoot. It was like he was trying to continue the buzz for Logan, build some for himself, whatever, right?
Mm.
Um, he says that he thought it was clear, it was cool, everybody understood that, and that um, basically the he said, look here, right here, Triple H misunderstood. Kross learned that Triple H was not happy with the promo as he believed Kross was genuinely disgruntled. Kross had to meet with Triple H outside his office to explain, etc., etc. So first off, let's watch these two videos real quick where Karrion talked on Logan Paul. Have you seen them?
No, I don't think I have.
Mentioned that somebody in WWE thinks that his peers have a problem with his position in the company. He still doesn't get it. No one has a problem with his position. The problem is that for some people who have put 20, even 30 years in, they were told that there was a certain skill set that they had to acquire. Putting time in was going to equate to having very particular opportunities. Those opportunities don't seem to be available for those people now because they did not build a brand outside of the company. And for an extended period of time, no one was allowed to build a brand outside of a company. That's the issue. That's the problem. This person who believes that everyone has a problem with him, it's not about him. Anyone could be him, and people would have a problem with that. If people were told when they went to professional wrestling schools that they had to build a brand outside of the company in order to position them better, to have the opportunities that they could knock out of the park, that's exactly what they would have done. Professional wrestlers, in my opinion, have the strongest and greatest work ethic in the world. And if someone would have told them that this is what they had to do, that's what they would have done. Now, for some of those people, it's too late. So I asked that person, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Are we just going to wipe out an entire group of performers that have been doing this for an extended period of time because it's impossible for them to catch up to that advantage? Me personally, I'm actually learning from that person. I see how the business is responding to that person. I don't dislike that person. I think that person's great, which I've been on record to say. I like that person. I think they're very cunning. I think that they do the things that I wish Sami Zayn would do, and then he'd be world champion. I just don't think he still gets it. And I'm actually shocked that he's rattled in the way that he is about this, because he doesn't have to be. But here we are. I think you guys get it, though.
All right.
It's been
So, you could see where Triple H was rubbed the wrong way because that's a real fucking issue. They were, I mean, up until literally until TKO took over, there were countless people who were told kill your side business. You're not allowed to, be an entrepreneur. You work for and represent WWE. That's it. Scarlett being one of them. They told her you go on a contract, kill your business. She did. In return, they tell her you're not going to get a new contract. You know what I'm saying? So that's a real issue. So you could see where this would be the first real failure of Triple H's part for the wrestlers. This is the first one where it's irrefutable. To me, it looks like he's being punished for speaking the truth when you're telling him basically if you don't have a brand, you're not going to be pushed, and he goes to create a brand, but you didn't like the way he created it. So he gave an update after he was released on what happened with his contract negotiation, right? So it says that he was not offered a new deal until the last week of his contract expiring, which we talked about. I said, well, if they weren't going to sign him, why would they? One sec. All right, I'm back. So we talked about this, how I was like, you were like, they're going to release him. And I'm like, well, why are they booking him still? Well, it's because they were going to fucking offer him a contract. Now, why he didn't is for two reasons. It says, I got the offer. I wanted to know how they came to the valuation to that offer. So one reason was that they didn't offer Scarlett a contract, right? And he said that they told him they're gonna deal with his contract first and then offer Scarlett's. But he doesn't want to be in WWE without Scarlett. The other issue is that he asked how they came to the valuation of that offer. He just wanted some information, some metrics and analytics supporting, say, hey, this is how we got here. Because he knew that they were using his shoot against him, which he didn't say, but that's what it is. So when I inquired about that, they were unwilling to provide that information and told me I had 24 hours to agree to the offer or they were rescinding it. The next day we talked, I asked if they had more information. They don't. I said I can't make an informed decision without the information, which he asked for the day prior. I'd like to keep the dialogue open. They rescinded the offer, and that's actually where we're at. So he says they did offer him a contract offer. It's not that they weren't going to use him or push him or release him, or they wanted to release him. He didn't take the offer because they didn't give him enough information, and they also didn't offer a contract for Scarlett.
Sounds like he wanted more money, and it sounded like he wanted his wife on the road with him. And he also know his wife is a big part of his gimmick. Also, so here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. All right. Karrion Kross is a smart guy, and he sees the future of the business. And he cuts one hell of a promo. And even in those interviews were promos, man, because he's trying to get a job somewhere else.
Well, he also proved his point that they can go viral.
And he doesn't want to shit on his old company too hard. Or the talent there. I mean, maybe he doesn't care about the company, but I'm saying the talent though. So he reneged on some of the statements. But here's the thing. He's not a good wrestler. He's not
so wait, before we go there,
his wrestling is trash.
Well, hold on. Before we go there, so you think? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think that this was him maneuvering out of WWE on purpose.
No, I think he wanted more. I think he's a bitch. I think he wanted more money. I think he's a smart guy. He did a little crybaby thing where like he did this like, you know, I take that back. Not a bitch, not a crybaby thing. But what I'm trying to say though is he wanted more money. He knew all he is a promo. That's all he's got. And he needed his girl. So he was like, hey, I want my wife on the road with me. She's part of my gimmick, right? She's a big that eye candy part of his whole gimmick. And all I got is my promo. And I'm using these other platforms, but he wanted more money and his girl on the road. And I don't think WWE was gonna. Maybe WWE was going to, hire his girl. You know what I mean? But just not at that moment, or whatever the case is. I don't know, man. That's what I'm getting out of it. Other than that, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the, but that's what I'm getting out of it is, his girl was part of his gimmick, and he wanted more money.
So you don't
And
think there was any bad blood there?
No, I think there was bad blood on his part. I think he was mad at them for not seeing his vision that he's right about, because he's a brilliant guy. I mean, that whole social media to go viral and all that. That's why he wanted more money. And there's another reason. And he's smart. He knows he's got a hot girl. It's his wife, so it's a double win, right? He gets to be on the road with his wife. He knows that that's like his bread and butter to get these things viral sometimes too. You know what I mean? Like sometimes. I'm not saying he doesn't do it himself with the stuff he says. I'm just saying though, like, who doesn't like some good eye candy? And it's a big part of his gimmick. That girl, she doesn't shift the eyes, all that. But I saw the last couple of matches with Sami Zayn. They weren't good. I mean, he took back bumps. He's real stiff in the ring. He's slow in the ring. And he took a little shot at Sammy there for a little bit, but then, at the same time, it's not that bad. It sounds like a good promo. He'll be in AEW.
I think the Sammy thing was the start of that, Sammy build. I think that was definitely a work.
Was that before the match? Was that interview?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Then yeah, definitely work. Yeah, a lot of that stuff was work. That's why I said a lot of that stuff sounded promo-ish. But like in a shoot kind of way. He's great, man. He's work
because
yeah,
that part about the businesses and brands being shut down by the company is real shit. It points to a real issue where, like, you want to bring in these stars. That's the issue that people have with Logan Paul. That was the whole point of this is you want to bring in these stars like Logan Paul, but that have these followings so you could promote the company better. But you literally told your own people for generations they couldn't build a brand. The WWE was the brand. And now you're unwilling to push those same people.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, man? This could all be a work in itself, guys. Full disclosure. This could all be a work in itself, man. So
this could be a work to feed the Logan Paul thing.
Yeah.
And high key, Karrion Kross has actually got a new contract.
Yeah. Let me tell you, man, grudges are not
just like this deal. Could actually be a whole work. The WWE is smear campaigning the smear campaigning AEW. This goes back to the bad blood with Cody.
Oh, yeah. My thing is
bad blood. And what's the odds that he's I'd say low personally, but playing devil's advocate here and with the conspiracy theorist to my right. What are the odds that Cody's just smear campaigning AEW right now with this whole hostile takeover?
Oh, it's absolutely the case. I mean, it's competition. He might even give it. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm going to go the other way with that. And I think he's doing it on purpose to get everybody to tune in on AEW for a response. Anytime they mention AEW, you're giving them heat, man. You're giving them heat. So to me, he might even be a little double agent, man. Yeah, man. Hey, why not? Stranger things have happened. That's his baby over there. So Anyways, yeah, I just think. Oh, and real quick, the Karrion Kross thing. I just think he's a bad wrestler. I don't think there's any grudge because if they let CM Punk back after all that Triple H and CM Punk bad blood, they really didn't like each other. That was all over
That's true.
shoot interviews.
That's true.
He would if Karrion Kross was really
But they
making that
both
money
did
and really
say that
pushing
they
it.
both like would try to connect. You know, especially I know they did it over the last
Oh yeah, Punk and Triple H.
year when Punk was battling with AEW. They tried to connect a few times, and they were like, "Yeah, he hasn't really changed." And then all of a sudden, they were like, "Yeah, both of us has changed," and so it worked. So there's also that was in the past, and this is current.
Yeah.
So there's that. But you know, speaking of babies,